Okay, so today we're diving deep into Europa,
Right.
one of Jupiter's Galilean moons, right?
Right.
And you sent over, wow, this is a lot of research articles.
Yeah.
It seems like we're trying to uncover the possibility of life on this moon, Europa.
Yeah, what's so fascinating about Europa is that it's what's considered an ocean world. So imagine a saltwater ocean,
Okay.
potentially larger than all of Earth's oceans combined,
Oh,
underneath a shell of ice.
that's incredible. An ocean bigger than all of Earth's oceans combined.
Yeah.
That's wild. But wait, how can liquid water even exist that far away from the sun? I mean, that's got to be a giant snowball, right? Not a giant swimming pool.
Well, it's all about this push and pull.
Okay.
So Europa is locked in this kind of gravitational dance with Jupiter and the other moons, and it creates these massive tidal forces.
Mm-hmm.
And so think of it like constantly squeezing like a stress ball.
Yeah.
It's that squeezing that actually generates heat inside of Europa, and scientists believe that that's what's keeping that ocean from totally freezing over.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like friction almost, right?
Exactly.
Okay, but Europa is covered in ice. How do we know what's even going on down there?
Right.
Can't just, like, send a submarine or something.
Well, not a submarine, but
Or can we?
not exactly, but you're hitting on something. One of the clues is we've got these really distinctive dark lines that kind of crisscross all over the surface.
I've seen those, yeah.
Yeah, those are called lineae.
Okay.
And they're basically like stretch marks.
Okay.
They're showing that the ice shell is cracking and shifting
From the tidal force.
from those tidal forces, and it offers us a glimpse of what might be underneath.
So like little windows into the ocean almost.
Exactly, precisely. And what's even more incredible is that scientists have observed what appear to be giant plumes of water vapor erupting from Europa's south polar region.
Hold on. Plumes. Like geysers shooting out of the ice?
Basically, yeah.
How is that even possible?
Well, remember those cracks in the ice? It seems like these plumes might actually be connected to those cracks. And the tidal forces create enough energy to launch these plumes, potentially hundreds of kilometers high.
Are you serious? So that's like taller than Mount Everest.
Yeah, taller than Mount Everest. Although later research has kind of tempered those estimates a little bit. They might not be quite that dramatic,
Oh, okay.
but still an amazing thing.
So we've got this massive hidden ocean kept liquid by this like cosmic tug of war.
Right.
And now we've got these giant plumes of water vapor shooting out into space. What else is there?
And here's where it gets really, really interesting.
Okay.
There's evidence that suggests that some of the areas on Europa's surface might be coated in, get this, sea salt.
Sea salt. So that must mean that there's some connection between that ocean and the surface then, right?
Exactly.
Wow.
And if that ocean water is reaching the surface, especially through those plumes, it could be carrying something really extraordinary with it.
Hold on. Are you about to say what I think you're going to say?
Well, let's just say that the potential for life on Europa is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore.
I love these deep dives.
I
This is great. It's like we're cosmic detectives.
know, right?
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves and start picturing like little green men swimming around in there,
Yeah.
let's talk about what kind of life could actually survive in that environment, because it's not like it's a tropical paradise, right?
Right.
It's got to be pretty harsh down there.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we've got this incredible hidden ocean potentially shooting out plumes of water vapor into space.
Right.
But could anything actually live down there?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be pretty extreme, right?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? But see, that's the thing about life.
What's that?
It's surprisingly adaptable. Even though Europa might not be, a tropical paradise,
Right.
it seems to have the right ingredients for life, as we know it, at least.
Okay, like what besides a giant ocean? I mean,
Well, scientists believe that Europa probably has the right chemical building blocks for life. Things like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, all that good stuff.
the essentials.
Exactly, nitrogen, phosphorus.
Right.
And they think that these elements are present in Europa's rocky interior,
Uh-huh.
and they could be transported to the ocean through these things called hydrothermal vents.
Hydrothermal vents, those are like what? Underwater geysers?
You got it.
Okay.
Yeah, we see them on the ocean floor here on Earth,
Right.
and they spew out this hot, mineral-rich water,
Right.
and they support entire ecosystems down there, even without any sunlight.
So are you saying that even without sunlight, those vents could be like a power source for life on Europa?
That's a definite possibility.
Wow, that's amazing.
And there's more.
What's that?
Remember those tidal forces that are keeping the ocean liquid?
Yeah.
That constant push and pull creates a lot of internal friction,
Right, right.
and that could generate energy
Right.
for life. Yeah.
Wow. So not only do we have the water, we've got the chemistry set, we might have even a couple of different energy sources down there.
It's looking pretty good for Europa, yeah.
It really does. But, I mean, let's be real here. Are we talking like alien whales swimming around down there, or is it going to be a little less exciting?
Chuckles. Probably a little less exciting, yeah. It's best to probably kind of temper our expectations. For now,
Right.
if there is life on Europa, it's probably going to be microbial.
Okay, so like tiny little bacteria.
Exactly, yeah.
So maybe not close encounters of the European kind just yet. Check.
Not quite. No.
But even finding those tiny microbes, wouldn't that be a huge deal for science?
Absolutely. I mean, that would revolutionize our understanding of life in the universe.
How so?
Well, think about it. If life arose independently on both Earth and Europa,
Yeah.
it would suggest that, maybe life is way more common out there than we originally thought.
So instead of it being this rare thing, it might be happening all over the place.
Exactly. Like finding a dandelion in your yard and realizing the whole neighborhood's probably covered in them.
Chuckles. Yeah, that's a great analogy.
And here's something else. Even if it's just microbial life now, that doesn't mean that more complex life couldn't evolve.
Right? Because that's how it happened here.
Precisely.
So it's almost like taking a time machine back to early Earth to see how life might have started here.
Yeah, it's a fascinating possibility.
It really is.
Yeah.
So what's next? How do we actually find out what's down there?
Well, there's some really cool missions coming up.
Oh, yeah. Like
Well,
that.
The European Space Agency, they've got the GeoICES mission,
Oh, really?
which launched earlier this year.
Yeah.
And that's going to do a couple of flybys of Europa.
Nice.
It's mainly focused on Ganymede.
Right, another one of Jupiter's moons.
Exactly.
But those flybys, those would be good to get some data from, right?
Absolutely. But to really get down to it, we'd need something more, maybe a little more permanent.
Right, like an orbiter or something.
Right. Yeah. You read my mind. NASA's got this mission, the Europa Clipper,
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one.
which actually just launched last month.
Wow, already?
Yeah, it's on its way.
So it's like our own little scout.
Exactly.
Check it out up close and personal.
And it's got some really amazing tech on board.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
We're talking like ice-penetrating radar
Right.
to map what's going on under the surface.
Okay.
Spectrometers to figure out what the surface is made of
Yeah.
and what those plumes are composed of, and high-resolution cameras to get some really incredible pictures.
Oh, I can't wait to see those.
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
So we've got flybys, we've got an orbiter. What's the next step?
Well, I mean, the ultimate goal would be
A lander.
a lander, exactly.
Imagine the data we could get if we could actually land something on the surface.
I know, right?
Take samples, maybe even drill down into that ocean.
Yeah, that's the dream. I mean, there aren't any official plans yet, but they're definitely tossing around ideas for lander missions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then imagine being able to analyze the ice,
Right.
search for those biosignatures.
Right. See if there's any little hints of life.
Exactly, or even like send down a little submarine.
Oh, wow. That would be incredible.
Right, explore the ocean directly.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really exciting stuff.
This is all super exciting. But, I mean, before we go sending robots or even people to Europa,
Right?
don't we run the risk of, contaminating the place?
That's a really good point.
What if we accidentally bring some of our own Earth microbes over there?
Absolutely, that's a huge concern. Planetary protection is like the top priority.
Okay, good.
Especially if we're talking about landing on the surface.
Right, because what if there is something there and we mess it all up?
Exactly.
So we have to be really careful.
We want to explore, but we also want to be responsible about it.
Right, explore, but don't interfere.
Precisely.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. I've learned so much about Europa.
Me
Who
too.
knew a moon could be so interesting?
Right. It really makes you wonder what else is out there.
It really does. And I can't wait for the next deep dive.
Me neither. This is fun.
Until then, stay curious, everyone.